Okay, now let's see how the system works. First, before you logging into the system, you have to enter the patient details. Most probably this will be the user details. You have to enter the basic details of the patient. Let's say the patient name is Sumal and Sumali. Then the age will be 25. So you can select the type of the user, whether it is a patient or a doctor. And let's say patient. Then you have to select the gender. So let's say the Sumali is male, and let's see the response of the system. Once you select it as male, so it will give you some kind of a suggestion that Sumali sounds not like a male name. So there is a small facility that it can identify the gender, the name according to the gender. Let's say female, and return back to the system. So this is the system interface. You can see the possible symptoms of the human respiratory system. Diseases, you can see they have listed out in this cage, and the patient information is listed in this column, and symptoms and kind of health. So first, the user has to select the symptoms he or she has. Let's say the symptoms will be fever, cough, chest pain and headache. Then in this cage, under the symptom columns, you can see the symptoms you have entered to the system: fever, cough, chest pain and headache. So for the diagnose, simply you have to click on this diagnose button. So once you click on this diagnose button, the system will start questioning from you. First, it will ask from when you have these symptoms. So you have to answer the questions. What you have to keep in mind is these questions are some sort of intelligent questions which depends on the inputs entered by the user, because these are not any particular questions. So they have depend on the inputs or the symptoms entered by the user. Let's say fever from 1 or 2 days, then it will ask, do you have running nose or sneezing? Right. So you have to answer, do you have running nose or sneezing? Let's say no. The things in this column or this question is, this question depends on the previous question. This is kind of another important thing of this system. Then let's say no. Again it will ask, do you have a pain in the forehead? Yes. So this is kind of a yes no question. You can see your cough is a productive cough or not. Let's say no. Then do you feel a difficulty in breathing? Let's say no. Do you have a wheezing? No. Difficulty in swallowing? No. Sore throat? No. Are your tonsils are enlarged? Yes. Blood stain with spectrum? No. Do you have vomiting? No. Do you have hoarseness of voice? No. You can see, as same as a human doctor does, it will ask the questions from the patient. So once the patient completed asking questions, it will list out the possible diseases according to the symptoms entered. You can see they are listed out with the possible ranges or the possibilities of that diseases. Sinusitis 41.9 and tracheitis 31.4. Likewise, the possible disease, a list of possible diseases should be listed out in this case. So then once it come up with its conclusion, you can ask for the treatments from the system. Simply you have to click on this treatment button. Once you click on it, it will give the treatments. Here you can see any cough suppressant syrup, 2 paracetamols for 8 hours, 500 mg oral penicillin. Likewise, it will give a basic treatment for the patient. Then another facility, you can have an explanation from the system for its conclusion. Simply you have to click on this explain button. Once you click on it, so it will describe it as the patient said he has fever, cough and headache is also a four-headed headache, therefore it can be sinusitis. He has the chest pain, he has the cough, he has fever, therefore it can be tracheitis. Likewise, the reasons for the conclusion it will explain in this column. Then you can ask for the clinical test where it necessary. Here you can see the possible clinical test will be full blood count or FBC and chest x-ray. Then you can ask questions like, so it has listed out the diseases, sinusitis, tracheitis, tonsillitis. Likewise, you can ask cannot be any other disease, let's say bronchial asthma. Once you have clicked on this ask button, so it will give you the conclusion. So the reason is no wheezing, cannot be bronchial asthma. Let's ask another question from the system, cannot be tuberculosis. So then it will again ask starting questions from the user. From when do you have fever? Let's say 3 or 4. Likewise, you have to answer the questions. So it will display can be or cannot be tuberculosis. Likewise, it can give the possible answers for the system. So hope you have an idea how the system is working. Now let's see the next part of the system.